All right, so you know how we're always trying to find those like shortcuts to get smart on something new, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Without like spending hours and hours reading or watching videos.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Um, Taking a quick but insightful look at all the buzz around Apple Arcade.
For sure.
If you're into, kind of getting a quick update on what's new and what's been revived and given a new life.
Yeah, especially if you have a little bit of that nostalgia, for some of the older games, and then you see them kind of get a modern twist. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, and that's actually a big part of this kind of deep dive,
Hmm.
because what caught my eye was these 6 games that Apple Arcade kind of like, splashed onto the scene on April
Yeah,
3rd.
they made it seem like they were all brand new too, right?
Brand new in quotes.
New.
Right. And it really is, it begs the question of what is new anymore.
Right. Is it just taking something old and kind of slapping a new coat of paint on it, or is it something more than that?
Yeah, and a lot of it really is that blend of like the old and the new,
Yeah.
where you're getting some familiar mechanics, but then there are some genuinely, I think, clever updates that they've done to kind of bring these games into like the modern, gaming world.
Yeah, I think they've done a pretty good job of not just straight porting them over. They put some thought into it.
So we're gonna sift through all that. We're
Yeah.
gonna try to extract like the most, interesting and maybe surprising things that we found in these releases and updates.
Save you some time, right?
Yeah, hopefully save you some time and give you the quick and dirty lowdown.
Exactly.
So let's jump right into it. And I want to start with a game that I think a lot of people have really fond memories of, Katamari Damacy Rolling Live.
Oh, yeah.
Now this is significant because this is the first new entry in the series since 2016.
Wow, has it really been that long?
It has.
Yeah, I remember playing that.
So
Feels like a lifetime ago.
for those who maybe haven't experienced the joy of Katamari Damacy,
Oh, man, they're missing out.
the core idea is so simple and yet so addictive.
Yeah, you just roll stuff up.
You're basically rolling this ball around this incredibly sticky ball called the Katamari.
The Katamari.
And you're picking up like anything and everything.
Yeah, you start small, right?
You start really small.
Like thumbtacks and erasers and stuff.
Yeah, and then eventually you're rolling up like cars and buildings.
Right, like whole houses. It's pretty crazy.
Now, where they've taken it in a really kind of interesting direction with this version
Yeah.
is they've kind of reimagined the King of All Cosmos
The King of All Cosmos as a
as a streamer.
as a streamer. No way.
And the way you unlock levels is
Mhm.
by increasing his follower count.
Oh, wow. That's kind of a funny commentary on like, our modern obsession with followers and stuff.
Yeah, is it reflecting our priorities, or is it just like a really clever meta, kind of narrative device?
Yeah, like are they making fun of us or are they just kind of going with the flow?
I don't know, but it definitely makes you think.
Yeah, it does.
All right, let's move on to another game that I think a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for. Space Invaders Infinity Gene Evolve.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
So this is basically, Space Invaders reimagined from the ground up.
Right, but it still has that like horror, shoot 'em up.
Oh yeah, you're still shooting at those descending aliens.
Yeah. Gotta protect your base.
But what they've done with this Evolve version is really interesting because the game itself evolves as you play.
So it like changes?
It changes. It starts out with like that really classic, like retro pixelated look.
Uh-huh.
And then as you progress, it becomes more intricate. The graphics get more sophisticated. It almost becomes like a futuristic shoot 'em up.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So it's like you're,
It's like going from like, an old flip phone
yeah.
to like a VR headset or something.
Yeah, I get it, like the same basic idea, but a totally different presentation.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it really does kind of play on that nostalgia, but also gives you something genuinely new to like, experience.
Yeah, I like that like they're honoring the original, but also pushing it forward.
All right. Now, for anyone who has ever spent hours painstakingly designing the perfect roller coaster,
Oh, yeah, RollerCoaster Tycoon.
RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic Plus is back.
Yes.
And this is a full-on revival of this beloved simulation game.
And now you can play it on your phone, right?
Yeah, which is amazing because you think about like the complexity of this game. You're building these huge amusement parks, you're managing finances, you're dealing with like, unruly guests.
Right, keeping everybody happy.
And they've managed to like translate that really well to the mobile platform.
It's impressive how they can do that now. Like these games that used to require like a powerful PC.
I know, it's amazing.
Now they just run on your phone, no problem.
But it's not just the original game, right? They've also included the expansions, Wacky Worlds, and Time Twister.
Oh, wow. So you can get really creative with the themes.
Yeah, you're not just building like a regular theme park. You can send your visitors to like, prehistoric times or like a futuristic space station.
Right, like the possibilities are endless.
And of course, the potential for disaster is also endless.
Yeah, you can always make that one roller coaster that just flies off the tracks.
Yeah.
It's part of the fun.
So Apple Arcade also got a few other like, new games, and we can't go into all of them in detail, but just to give you a quick taste.
Yeah.
There's Puffies, which is kind of like a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, okay.
But with this really cool, like, tactile element. It's like, those puffy stickers we used to have as kids?
Oh, yeah, I remember those. I used to love those.
So it's like it kind of taps into that nostalgia.
That's smart.
Then there's the Game of Life 2 Plus.
Okay.
And this is the classic board game, right? But they've updated it with, like, modern career paths.
Oh, like what kind of careers?
So instead of being like a doctor or a lawyer, you can now be like a dolphin trainer or a quantum mechanic.
A quantum mechanic?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty specific.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
But I guess it reflects like how the job market has changed so much.
Yeah, totally.
Like those weren't even real jobs back when the original game came out.
Exactly. And then for like the younger crowd or anyone who just loves Elmo, there's Sesame Street Mecha Builders Plus.
Mecha Builders, so like robots.
Yeah, it's all about like building robots and stuff. And it's very much focused on like STEM education.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like educational but also fun.
Yeah, they're trying to sneak in some learning there.
I like that.
But the updates aren't just for the new games. They've also been updating existing games on Apple Arcade.
Oh, cool. Like which ones?
So NBA 2K25 Arcade Edition.
Yeah.
They just added Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, wow. So you can play as Kareem.
Yeah, with that unstoppable skyhook.
Nice.
PGA Tour Pro Golf, they added the TPC Sawgrass course.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's a really challenging course, yeah.
With that island green.
Yeah, so now you can experience the terror of that hole from the comfort of your own home.
Virtually speaking, of course.
Virtually, of course. And then Skate City, New York, they added 30 new levels.
Wow, that's a lot of new content.
So they're really kind of expanding on that game.
Keeps it fresh.
Yeah. And then there's a whole bunch of other games that also got updates. Ridiculous Fishing EX.
Okay.
Talking Tom Blast Park. Dear Reader Temple Run.
Legends.
Wow, they've been busy.
Three Kingdoms heroes. So it seems like they're really committed to like keeping the Apple Arcade library fresh and updated.
Yeah, they're not just letting it stagnate. They're actually putting in the work.
So the question everyone's probably wondering is how much does this cost, right, to access all these games?
Right.
So it's 99 rupees a month.
That's not bad at all.
Which is pretty reasonable, and it's also included in the Apple One bundle.
So if you already have Apple One, then you get all these games for free, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And the cool thing is that one subscription covers up to 6 family members.
Oh, wow. So it's like a family plan.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good deal if you have, multiple people in your household who like to play games.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's pretty clear that Apple Arcade is really leaning into this idea of blending, nostalgia with modern updates.
Yeah, they're kind of hitting that sweet spot between like the familiar and the new.
And I think it's a smart strategy because, we all have those games that we loved as kids or, maybe even as adults. And to see them kind of reimagined and brought into like the modern era, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like rediscovering something you thought you knew.
Exactly. And it can lead to like those aha moments, where you're like, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way.
Right. Or I never thought they could do that with this game.
And it makes you think about like the bigger picture, right? Like, why are we so drawn to revisiting, our past entertainment?
That's a good question.
It's not just in games, right? It's in movies, music, fashion.
Yeah, everything seems to be getting like a reboot or a remake.
So what does that say about us? What does it say about our relationship with technology and with memory?
Yeah, like, are we just running out of ideas or are we just really attached to the past?
I don't know, but it's definitely something to think about.
Food for thought.
Food for thought.
Thanks for the deep dive.
Absolutely.